Welcome, everyone, to Trades Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Pop Culture Mechanic, leaning heavily on the mechanic side because that is what I know about and that's what today is all about. Just like to say hello to you guys out in the chat there. Jake D, no trade for the Stooge. The only trade he will get is trade worthless life for production and quota. Ooh, that's harsh. And hey there, Godzillionaire. Toiling in the mines is a trade. Could be. You could be a shovel technologist or something like that. But yes. Let's get right into it. As some of you may know, we start off with a little bit of the news. See what's going on out in industry, whether things are looking good or things are looking not so good. You can usually tell by reading the news of what's being built and where the money's going. Let's have a look here. I always look at Plant Magazine. This was an article from last week. Electric vehicle maker Lion Electric cutting 150 jobs to reduce costs. Spoiler alert, things aren't looking so good. Medicom Group invests $165 million in new production facility in London, Ontario. Here we go. This is the one here. BMW is recalling SUVs after Takata airbag inflator blows apart and injures driver. All right. The recall raises questions about the safety of about 30 million Takata inflators that are under investigation by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. BMW is recalling a small number of SUVs in the U.S. because the driver's airbag inflators can blow apart in a crash, hurling metal, shrapnel, and possibly injuring or killing people in the vehicles. Yeah, that's the opposite of what an airbag is supposed to do. An airbag is supposed to increase your chances of surviving, not to help kill you. So good job, BMW. Get on this and fix it up now. Hey DJ Ronnie G, how you doing? Have you seen the memes where people bedazzle their steering wheels with rhinestones? You made me Claymore. I haven't seen that, but that's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, some people got to learn the hard way. U.S. auto safety regulators say in documents posted on December the 2nd that the recall covers 486 X3, X4, and X5 SUVs from the 2014 model year that are equipped with airbags made by Takata Corp of Japan. 2014? That's like 9 years ago. It's taken them this long? Hey, Jay's daddy, how you doing? Good to see you. The recall raises questions about the safety of about 30 million Takata inflators that are under investigation by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Most have not been recalled. Takata used volatile ammonium nitrate to create a small explosion to inflate airbags in a crash, but the chemical can deteriorate over time when exposed to high temperatures and humidity. It can explode with too much force, blowing apart a metal canister and spewing shrapnel. At least 26 people have been killed in the U.S. by Takata inflators since May 2009, and at least 30 have died worldwide, including people in Malaysia and Australia. In addition, about 400 people have been injured. Potential for a dangerous malfunction led to the largest series of auto recalls in U.S. history, with at least 67 million Takata inflators involved. The U.S. government says many have not been repaired. About 100 million inflators have been recalled worldwide. The exploding airbags sent Takata into bankruptcy. Well, of course, yeah. You build garbage and sell it, people come back to get you. Who would have thought a collab between the Germans and Japanese would end poorly? Ooh! Little Axis humor there. Documents say the inflators in the BMWs have a moisture-absorbing chemical called a desiccant that were not part of previous recalls. BMW says in documents that in November it was told of a complaint to NHTSA that the driver's airbag in a 2014 X3 had ruptured. The automaker began investigating and hasn't determined an exact cause, but preliminary information points to a manufacturing problem from February 22nd, 2014 to March 7th, 2014, the documents said. The German automaker says in documents that it's still investigating, but it has not yet been able to inspect the X3 with the faulty airbag. And how long is this taken? Talk about dragging your feet. They just know it's going to cost them money. That's why they don't want to do anything about it. BMW will probably gas up the death stats. Hear me out, you guys. We inflate the airbag with a mini explosive. Yeah. NHTSA records show a complaint saying that on October 23rd, the inflator on a 2014 X3 exploded in Chicago, sending a large piece of metal into the driver's lung. The driver also had chest and shoulder cuts that appeared to be caused by shrapnel. The complaint said a surgeon removed a gold-colored disc from the driver's lung, according to the complaint, which did not identify the driver. NHTSA says Takata airbags with a desiccant are under investigation because they have the potential to explode and expel shrapnel. The investigation opened in 2021 covers more than 30 million inflators and over 200 models from 20 car and truck makers, including Honda, Stellantis, General Motors, Ford, Nissan, Tesla, BMW, Toyota, Jaguar, Land Rover, Daimler, Vans, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Mercedes-Benz, Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche, Mazda, Karma, Fisker, Spartan, fire vehicles. Chicago? Are you sure it was the airbag and not gunfire? That's probably what set it off. Explosive bolts, good enough for Virgil. Gus Grissom, good enough for you. The agency decided in May of 2020 not to recall the inflators with the desiccant, but said it would monitor them. So they're just going to see if they kill more people. While no present safety risk has been identified, further work is needed to evaluate the future risk of non-recalled desiccated inflators, the agency said in a document opening the probe. Spokeswoman for NHTSA said Saturday she would check into the status of the investigation. A message was left seeking comment from BMW. In the BMW recall, dealers will replace the airbags at no cost to the owners, who will be notified by letter starting January 16th. The BMW recall comes after General Motors recalled nearly 900 vehicles in July with Takata inflators that have the desiccant. GM also blamed the problem on a manufacturing defect at Takata. In a statement about the GM recall last summer, NHTSA said the agency did not have any data suggesting that other desiccated Takata inflators might rupture. I like how GM points to Takata as like, oh, well, these guys, it's a manufacturing defect. Didn't you try them out when you built your car? Don't you take some aside and test them out? Like, what's the matter with you? I think GM is just, all the automakers are just as much as fault. They're the ones that buy the stuff off, the cheapest stuff they can get from these makers of parts. So they're just as much to blame as the manufacturer. If they can afford a BMW, they can afford the health risks. Stellantis sounds like an evil corporation from a video game. Yeah. That's the old Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep and all that is Stellantis. Because what happened was, Daimler owned Chrysler for the longest time. Then they sold it to Fiat, and then I guess Fiat got bought out by Stellantis. I'm not sure. Something like that. We can't explain what's wrong with GM. Earth doesn't have that much time left. Oh, yeah. No kidding. Anyways, if you guys have any of those cars, just make sure to get them checked out. I don't want you guys all of a sudden getting hit with shrapnel when a thing is supposed to help save your life and it just ends up killing you. So that reminds me, I did get a recall notice about my car. I have a Kia, and the recall was for a hydraulic part in the car. Apparently, it can heat up, start on fire, and burn your car down. But they sent me this notice, and it's like, well, we don't have a part ready yet, but we'll let you know. We're just letting you know that there's a problem, and then we don't have a solution yet, but give us time, and we'll let you know. So it's like, oh, great. So now there's a possibility my car can start on fire. Great. Thanks, Kia. Rather than a recall, they just issue owners Kevlar vests. Yeah. Here's what you have to wear now. Suit of armor when you're driving your car. You hate it when that happens? Well, I don't know, JT. Maybe you guys would have a BMW. I don't know. BMW, no thank you. You're allergic to German engineering. Okay. The reason I don't have a BMW is I did my research, and I also worked for a guy that owned nothing but BMWs, and they always had dead batteries and flat tires. It's like there was nothing you could do to get around that. I was like, no thanks, I don't want a piece of garbage. Magna joins Telia Sweden and Ericsson's 5G innovation program. Canadian toy manufacturer to be acquired by Unity Acquisitions. I'm wondering what this is all about. Unity will purchase the majority of Mastermind Toys store locations and see a significant portion of employees continuing with the business. Mastermind GP Incorporated and Mastermind LP, an independent specialty toy and children's book retailer in Canada, announced that it has entered into an asset purchase agreement with Unity Acquisitions, a company owned by Canadian retailers Joe Mimran, Frank Rochetti, and David Louis. That's why James Bond switched back to Aston Martin. Nice, a proper British car, of course. Who would want to drive a German car? Under the terms of the transaction, Unity will purchase the majority of Mastermind Toy Store locations and see a significant portion of employees continuing with the business. Mastermind Toys is a beloved Canadian retailer with a loyal customer base driven by quality, curiosity, and play, said Joe Mimran. The acquisition aligns with Unity's strategy to enhance and grow extraordinary Canadian brands. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to work with the team at Mastermind Toys and take the brand and the business to the next level. The transaction is subject to certain closing conditions, including approval from the Ontario Superior Court of Justice in the company's ongoing proceedings under the Company's Creditors Arrangement Act. The transaction is expected to close in January 2024. Holiday sales and promotion continue at all Mastermind Toy locations. Mastermind Toys is also introducing an extended holiday return and exchange policy for purchases made online and in stores, other than at the 18 stores conducting liquidation sales. On November 30th, 2023, Mastermind Toys obtained court approval to conduct liquidation sales of all 18 of its store locations. Liquidation sales commenced on December 1st, 2023 and continue through the holiday season. The liquidating stores are not part of the transaction described above and are not included in the extended holiday return policy. Okay. Canadian toys, pine cones, and dried maple leaves? Well, you know. You play with what you got around you. All right. Pretty slow news day today. Not too much. That's pretty much it. I thought the big important one was for the recall there for the BMW SUVs. And then, pretty slow. So let's get along with the next part. I'm a big proponent of having good hand tool skills. If you are going to go into the skilled trades, you should have good hand tool skills. Because, there are power tools out there, battery operated, corded tools you can use for all the things you want to do. But then, if you happen to reach a point where there is no power, or you're far away from a power source, you will have to work with your hands. Your hands are your most important asset when you're working in the skilled trades. Stop. Hammer time. Yes, hammers. There's many different kinds of hammers, but I wanted to look at files today. And what kind of files are out there and what you can use them for and what the best ones you'll need for what you're doing. So I found this article here, The Bench from Cooks and Gold. Building out your jewelry making toolkit. You'll already know that there are a huge amount of metalworking files that could invest in to perfect your craft. But let's face it, not everyone has the budget to pick up their ideal kit right right off the bat. When you're just starting out, it's worth getting to know the different types of hand files available to you so you can educate yourself on the merits of each one. This will help you choose the right types of metal files for the designs that you want to create without breaking the bank. Here's a rundown on the essential jeweler's hand files and the uses of each one. Use 2 types of files today? Nice, DJ Ronnie G. The X files? You have to talk to David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson about that. I love the X Files. It was great. What a great show. Tell David Duchovny wanted to not film in Vancouver anymore and do it in LA. So. When I got your liberal arts degree, they didn't teach us about hand tools except in reference to ancient history. Yeah, I would think so, Jake D. But here, this is where you're going to learn about it. You bought the Subozen 4-pack to mod your N64. Beauty. What I like to hear. So an essential for beginners, a flat file has, you guessed it, a flat surface and is used to file larger flat areas of metal to straighten up edges and to work on the outside curve of a ring. With your flat file, you should always use a forward motion for filing and try to make sure the piece you're working on is held level for a clean, straight edge. And that's all about setup as well. When you're using a file, you're probably going to have a vise. So when you're standing at your workbench with your vise, make sure your vise is about elbow height. So if you put your arm against your body and let your pull your arm up at 90 degrees and have your elbow down, that's about the height you want your vise at. That way, it's a good level for you when you're doing a filing. It's not too high. You're not like going up an angle, or it's not too low where you're like filing downhill. You're trying to, you're trying to maintain a nice flat. They recently got some Tamiya files. Both are for smaller things. Ah, yes. We'll get into the smaller ones. Why don't flat files come with a handle? It's not because they're cheap. It's because you, as the user, can find a handle that you like the best. So you can pick out a handle that, you can either get wooden one, plastic ones, some with rubber on them, a comfort grip. So it's all about customizing for you what you like the best. If you're going to use your file a lot, you're going to want a comfortable handle to use. So then you can, just have what you like to use for your file. You'd get a vise and an anvil someday. Yes, both are very useful. The vise, if you're going to get a vise, I recommend the brand Record, made in Britain or England. Excellent vise. You'll see them everywhere out in all the shops you go to. All the older shops will always have Record vices, and they're great. They just last and last and last forever. A good vise. Anvils, get yourself a heavy anvil. Make sure you can secure it down to a base, and that thing should last you a long time. It's great. I only used one for punching out pieces on a piece of 1/4-inch thick flat bar, and it was excellent. You did print your own with wood powder? PL. Okay, nice. That's the way to do it. What about the handle? It says you'll notice a lot of jewelers' hand files do not come with a handle. These can be bought and fitted separately, so you can find the handle that works best for you. How do you fit the handle? The easiest way to do is carefully heat the end of your file with a hand torch, then use a mallet to fix the handle firmly in place on your hand file. Take care when doing this for the first time, as you want to make sure that your handle is completely straight and parallel with your hand file. Hey, no problem, DJ Ronnie G. A little bit of advice, why not? Their recommendation for a good all-rounder, choose a flat file with a Cut 2 grade. This level of coarseness is ideal for a number of metalworking jobs. It will be a good choice for building out your beginner's set of different types of hand files. They go on that. Number 2 is their half-round file. A half-round file features one flat side and one rounded side. Rounded side is useful when it comes to shaping and filing the inside of a ring shank. When working on the inside of a ring, the half-round side of your file should be used in a clean sweeping motion to remove fire scale, and to finish. Keep in mind that your half-round file is not solely for use with rings. You can create all sorts of curved shapes and cutouts when you use your half-round file at different angles. When you change the angle of your half-round file, this will change the radius of the curve that you're working on. Their recommendation: half-round metalworking files are a versatile tool, so it's worth investing in one right off the bat. Choose a grade 2 or 3 file to start with, as you will be able to easily remove metal material and start the finishing process with this grade of coarseness. One thing I've noticed here is they haven't talked about keeping your file clean, so if you're going to buy files, get yourself a file card. It's got metal pins on one side that'll clean out the teeth of your file, and then it's got a brush on the other side. You can brush all the chips away. If you want, and a lot of people maybe aren't picky right off the bat, but as you get making your projects, whatever they are, and you want to get a better finish, you're going to be cleaning your file a lot, because the teeth will get jammed up, and then those little bits of material there will just scratch into your work. So always keep your file clean. You get after every swipe, you might want to clean it, especially when you're finishing. You got your finishing file because the teeth are a lot closer together, and they're usually a single cut file, which means there's only one set of them going one direction. That'll give you a better finish. There's also draw filing, which is supposed to help you get a better finish as well. But also, that's once again, you got to keep your file clean. That's important. I've never used a crossing file. I don't know what what's their definition is. Crossing file looks similar to a half round, however, it actually features a curved radius on both sides. There's a slightly higher dome on the one side, helping you to create a varied range of curved shapes and cutouts. Each side of the crossing file is tapered so that you can file in tighter spaces as well as larger concave surfaces. Their recommendation: still a beginner, stick with a half round file to begin with to create rings and simple curves, and work your way up to investing in a crossing file as your design progress and become more complex. A barrette file. I've never heard of a barrette file. This type of metalworking file has only cutting teeth on one flat side. This makes it a great tool to work if you're worried about marking the metal you're working with as you file. So yeah, the typical file, it'll have teeth on all 4 sides. Like if you're looking at it cross-sectionally, it'll be a rectangle. Let's just say your flat file, it's a rectangle. It'll have teeth on every side. But this one apparently has teeth only on one side. So that's good. That way you can protect the work you don't want to remove metal away from one of the sides. Have one that doesn't have any teeth on it, and you should be fine. This makes a great tool to work with if you're worried about marking the metal you're working with as you file. As one side is tapered and smooth, it means you don't run the risk of undoing your filing work by marring the metal you're working with. Their recommendation: excellent for precision work on small and large areas. Pick up a barrette file when you need accuracy and want to avoid damaging your design and creating more filing and finishing work for yourself. So you are your own worst enemy when you're working on stuff. One little slip up, one little mistake, and you've just created yourself way more work. And I know you guys have done that before, because we've all done it. You can't deny it. Don't lie to Pop. When it comes to different types of metal files available, there are a couple of 6-inch hand files that you'll certainly want to invest in as a beginner. You're one stripped bolt away from a 3-hour job. Yeah, or busting off a head of a bolt or something, and not even a stripped one, but just busting the head off, or busting off an easy out that you're trying to use to remove it. That's the worst. Let's see. As your metalwork and filing skills quickly progress, you want to step up the finishing element of your work. One way of ensuring more precision is by getting to work with a set of needle files. They improve precision filing simply because they are a smaller set of jeweler's hand files at 16 centimeters long. That's about 6 inches. With a cutting surface of 8 centimeters long, as well as a much smaller cutting width, needle files will help you get into all of the nooks and crannies that you need to for more delicate designs. What are needle files used for? Flat or pillar file. Rectangular shaped needle file with teeth on all 4 of its flat sides. General purpose needle file for use with flat surfaces, filing the ends of wires straight or eliminating small bits of solder from joints. Really? You hate all those cheap Chinese screws you get with stuff today? Your tools would deform the heads. They're so soft. Oh, I know. Ugh. When I can, you try to change them out with something else. Because really, why, you're using the right tool and all of a sudden you're just bending the crap out of this stupid screw and bolts and all that. It's just terrible. A square needle file with a square cross section and tapered edges. Needle file is great for filing into corners at a 90-degree angle. Triangular needle file, also tapered to a point. This needle file is adept at filing into grooves or creating grooves. For example, marking out a bend in a sheet metal ready for cutting. Round needle file with teeth placed all around the needle file and right to the very tip, making this ideal file to use in tiny spots such as jump rings and clasps that have been soldered and require some tidying up. Their recommendation: if you're still at the beginning stages of building up your metalworking files, start with a smaller set of jeweler's needles. You'll soon get to know which needle files work best with your style and designs you like to work on. Now you know more about the different types of files and their uses, you feel confident investing in the right set of files for jewelry you create. So this was more for jewelry, but I'm thinking for you guys that build Gundams and such like that, when you're doing models, you're going to want to have something like this. It's very small files because you're filing very small parts. You don't need a giant one. Files are great for removing pesky identifying marks from things. Like serial numbers, Godzillionaire. I found this one too. This was at TM Technologies. Selecting the right file. I'll just zoom in here a little bit better. Here are a few elements to consider when choosing a file. The shape. Files come in hundreds of shapes and sizes, including flat, rounds, half rounds, triangular, square, blunt, tapered, and more. For sheet metal, you will most frequently reach for a flat or half round file. The half rounds are handy because the flat face can be used for filing flat surfaces and the recurved face can be used for concave surfaces or grooves. Files are primarily of two types. Those that are pointed with a pointed end that fits into the handle, and flat files with holes on each end for bolting to a holder. Oh, okay. I've never seen the ones that bolt to a holder. You ever rake your knuckles with a flat file by accident? Wear gloves. Yeah, not only that, but the pieces that come off. Like when you're filing, you're getting small chips. Those things get into your fingers, get under your fingernails, whatever. They're sharp. Like Godzillionaire says, wear some gloves. That should be one of the things you do. Get a file card, wear gloves. Don't run your fingers along the file. There's no reason to. So this is another thing. Coarseness is determined by the number of teeth per inch. The less teeth, the more coarse the file will be, while cut grade is determined by the character of the teeth, whether they are rough, medium, or fine cut, aka bastard, second, and smooth. So yeah, a lot of us have heard of bastard file, second cut, and smooth. So that's just like they say, the teeth, the character of the teeth. The bastard file is going to remove a lot of material, but it's going to look like garbage. That's why you have to use either a second or a smooth to finish off. You thought you got brass in your eye today? Oh, man. All right, DJ Ryan G. You're going to have to wear some safety glasses. Because brass is even worse than steel. At least steel, they can use a magnet to get it out. Brass, not magnetic, so they have to really search around in there and try to find it. And then when they even find it, trying to pull it out, yeah, it's you're getting like close to eye surgery for that. That's not good. So always be careful. You know, a lot of guys like to use compressed air to clean their stuff. I mean, you're just sending chips flying into the air. So always safety glasses. I mean, I have to wear prescription safety glasses, so I wear mine all the time. Sometimes even a face shield, you know. You just imagine using a magnet to remove metal from the eye. Ugh, yeah, that's pretty awful. But yeah, so for you guys that make those models and all that, plastic is pretty, it's not very hard. Plastic is relatively soft compared to metal, obviously. So you're going to want to use something that has pretty big teeth on there. Otherwise, it's just going to get plugged. So if you have a file and it has the teeth very close together, so you pretty much want to use a rough cut one, just because plastic is so soft. Same with aluminum. You'd want to use a very big tooth file. Otherwise, it'll just get plugged up. You can't see when you wear safety glasses. You can't see without them either, though. Yeah, there you go. I would suggest try goggles or, like I say, a face shield. Because you can get some pretty clean, a brand new fresh face shield doesn't even feel like you're wearing it. Just because of the fact that it's so clean. Rougher surfaces need coarser patterns and smoother surfaces finer tooth pattern. So choose accordingly to what surface you are working and the amount of metal you need to remove. When choosing a file, keep in mind that the longer the file, the coarser the cut, and subsequently the rougher the finish. This is because as the length of the file increases, the number of teeth per inch goes down. A 10-inch file has 23 teeth per inch, while a 4-inch file of the same cut has 43 teeth per inch. So you get the same force input on a short file as you do on a long one. You may need to use several files, getting smaller in size and are finer in grade as you go from rough to fine finish. True, very true. You can see there's a picture there of some of the files and what they look like, the teeth pattern that they have there. Specialty files. There are files for specific applications in difficult metals, including knife making, stainless steel, bronze, jewelry, instrument making, etc. Call or see our website to get a chart of recommended files for various metals and jobs. Excuse me. Now Oh yeah. Oh, good point, Godzillionaire. You should also caution against filing and sanding any composites like carbon fiber. The dust is very bad for your lungs. So once again, out comes your PPE. If you have to wear a respirator or a half mask respirator, should be fine for dealing with stuff. But always double check that the cartridges are going to stop the material that you're filing. So this says here, number 1, the one on the left here, is Vixen. Curved cut files have teeth in curved contoured rows across the file face. They are considered the best file ever designed for auto body repair and are used for smoothing panels. Okay. Number 2 and 3, single cut files have single diagonal parallel rows of teeth. They are used with light pressure to produce a smooth finish, or to put an edge on knives, shears, or saws. Double cut files are used for heavier pressure to remove metal faster. They have 2 diagonal rows of teeth cut at different or opposite angles. Generally, the upcut top row of teeth is a finer cut. So yes, single cut, number 2, double cut, number 3. So just remember, if you have a single row of teeth, you're finishing. If you have a double row of teeth, you are removing lots of material. When you use a radial saw, you wear eye protection and ear muffs. Good. Good. Especially with the ear muffs, DJ Ronnie G. Don't be like me. I have a little bit of tinnitus in my left ear. So right now, as we're talking, I have a ringing sound in my ear. It's not very loud, but it's there, and I have to live with that the rest of my life. You remember sanding a car at 8, 9 years old using a DA without a mask? The 80s were wild. You're up to 11itis? Hey, not a competition, Godzillionaire. I was just letting you know that I don't want what happened to me to happen to you guys. Number 4 and 5. Shear and serrated cut files have single cut teeth divided by steep angled serrations, which free themselves readily from chips. Some perform roughing and smoothing simultaneously. So yeah, that's what they've talked about these files here. And like I say, for our hobbies, whether it be building model Gundams and whatnot, you're probably going to want to invest in some files, especially if you're, a diehard Gundam fan. You're really heavy into the modeling and you want to make it look perfect. You're hearing lots from rock concerts, amongst other things, but mainly concerts. Yeah, I could see that. I didn't do a lot of rock concerts, but it was mostly from industrial, I'm pretty sure. And, a bit of loud music, but, it was mostly industrial, I think, what happened. So there you go. Any questions about files, you guys? I was using some today, actually. I had to use a round file and a flat finishing file. I was doing some modification to some railway chalks, the things that chalk up the rail cars. So I'll have pictures next week for you. Occasionally use your files on Gundams alongside glass files. Okay. And you unbox the Gun Primer Polisher. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that was a good stream you had with you and Punkwaddle. When I tuned in there. It was all right. I had a great time. All right, moving right along. I wanted to find out the top trade schools in the USA. And I'm going to count on you guys to let me know if this is right or not. Here's the top 10 trade schools in the country with a strong reputation for preparing students for successful careers. The Lincoln Technical Institute. They have they have their website here. Oh, right away, pop up with you can do live chat. Lincoln Tech is a scam? Oh, right off the bat, Godzillionaire bringing the shade for Lincoln Tech. Your friend went to Johnson Wales Culinary School in Rhode Island. Lincoln Tech had good commercials. Oh, you knew several people that were instructors there? That's wild, Godzillionaire. Okay, they tell you what they're... So machining and manufacturing. They have it at 4 campuses. Looks like Connecticut, Texas, Indianapolis, New Jersey. What else they got here? Information, spa and cosmetology, culinary, electrical and electronics, HVAC, welding technology. No industrial mechanics, eh? No millwright stuff. You can go to, looks like MD. Is that Maryland? Colorado, Georgia, Connecticut, Texas, Indiana, New Jersey, Illinois, Tennessee. Okay. Well, that's Lincoln Tech. Universal Technical Institute, UTI. Those schools are 100% for profit. A large portion of their students ex-felons that even if they get their certs aren't going to get... Oh, man, I had no idea. It's just I wanted to look at some American schools. I always show like schools up here. And I just wanted to see what they had to offer down here. At Universal Technical Institute, a new career path starts. You take 60 seconds and find out how you can get trained. What are you interested in? Industrial maintenance. There we go. First name, date of birth, phone. Okay, never mind. UTI is located literally across the street from most Lincoln Techs, like Home Depot and Lowe's. Okay. I had no idea. Marine, motorcycle, NASCAR. You can go for NASCAR? NASCAR Mechanic Technician Training Program. Wow. Good thing is, I bet you they have you in and out of there in no time, right? Zing, zing, zing. And then that's it. Automotive, diesel, marine. Yeah, industrial maintenance. Here we go. Industrial maintenance technician training. From gas and coal to nuclear and solar, industrial maintenance technicians work on machinery that powers many different industries. The Industrial Maintenance Technician program is designed to get students on track towards a career in industry in less than a year. Okay. 30 to 39 weeks from start to finish. 4 campuses. Courses in the program are designed to build your knowledge from the ground up. No prior experience is necessary. Energy industrial fundamentals and safety compliance, math, OSHA 10 and first aid, applied physics and precision measuring, DC and AC basic electricity, advanced electrical theory, materials processing, welding and diesel, industrial heating and cooling and compression systems, steam and gas turbines, boiler operation and valves. Okay. Entry level, career paths, industrial maintenance technician, installation technician, field service technician, boiler room technician, plant technician, advanced power plant operator, facilities manager, maintenance mechanic. That's what I do. Plant operator, major component mechanic. Schools in Canton, Michigan, Houston, Texas, Lisle, Illinois, and Rancho Cucamonga, California. Old Cucamonga, eh? U.S. has tried to replace the apprenticeship model for learning skilled trades with BS schools like this. Oh. Something Wustotska. Hey, Whoopa, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, okay. You know, the U.S. could really learn from us up here. We do a little bit better, I think, as far as trades training and all that. But, you know, I know the government there is probably like, nobody tell us how to do our job, teach people. We know how to teach people. America. Wyotech. Wyotech, okay. Choose from 4 programs to train technicians hands-on. Welding technology, automotive technology, diesel technology, collision and refinishing technology. It's always technology with these guys. You can't just say like body man or, heavy equipment technician or automotive service technician or welder. It's applied welding technology. They don't do much then. They just do 4 courses, it looks like. Yeah. Fortis. What you do today can change your life. Yep. You can select your program, select a state. Alabama. Select a campus. Birmingham. Select a program. Okay, dental assisting, dental hygiene, electrical trades, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, medical assisting, welding technology. So they have a little bit of everything there. And they are huge back east, looks like. Find a campus near you. Choose a state. Utah, Forest College in Salt Lake City. But yeah, the rest of the stuff is all back east. Electrical trades, HVAC, electrical, welding. Okay. That's Fortis. ITI Technical College. Oh, page can't be found. There we go. Programs. HVAC, instrumentation and control. Okay, yeah. Office administration, automotive and electric systems, information process technology, construction management, drafting. Those are the AOS degrees, and then there's certificate programs. Okay, not bad. Visit their campus today in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They don't teach web design there? Yeah, fix your links, will you? Rankin Technical College. I don't know if any of these are any good, really. I'm just sort of looking to see what they offer. Okay, they have right away locations. Okay, yeah. Educators, current students, alumni, employers. Okay, right away. You're not telling me what classes you offer. If I'm a student and I'm coming to your web page, you better tell me which, like, where's your classes? What do you offer? Automotive, architecture, construction, electrical, information technology, manufacturing. Ranking in the CFP playoffs this year? I don't know. You've seen commercials for Rankin, so you assume it's bad? Triangle Tech. Pittsburgh School. Okay. Anybody in Pennsylvania? Click here for their coronavirus update. Okay, well that doesn't help. There we go. Programs. CAD. Maintenance, electricity, and construction. Refrigeration. Carpentry. Welding. Not a lot of programs. Pittsburgh, Greensburg, Dubois, Sunbury, Bethlehem, and Chambersburg. Pennsylvania College of Technology. Penn College. All right, right off the bat. Academics, admissions, student life, about, business and industry, news. Apprenticeship programs. Course offerings. Here we go. Advanced Manufacturing Pre-Apprenticeship. Advanced Manufacturing Pre-Apprenticeship. CNC Year 1, Machining Fundamentals. CNC Year 2, CNC Year 3. Extrusion Year 1, Plastic Industry Essentials. Okay. Clean Energy Center. It's just the greenhouse. Yeah. Extrusion, Frontline Supervisor Apprenticeship Program. Industrial manufacturing technician. Injection molding. Lean Sigma 6 black belt apprenticeship. Intro mech. Mastering project management. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's any good. Midwest Technical Institute. ETA International. It's not for profit. Free Six Sigma class, still overpriced. Yeah, that's the thing they're trying to do. They're trying to bring that into our place too, Six Sigma. And it's like, that's fine. You guys want to bring it in, but unless people want to keep up with it or buy into it, it's not going to happen. Okay, that's it for that. Let's I got pictures. You guys like it when I grab pictures. Start here. These are ones that have been on my phone for a long time. So yeah, I'll explain them as we go through them. Just gotta make sure I grab the right. There we go. Okay. When you had to do lean projects to undo previous lean projects, I knew it was No way, you had to do lean projects to undo previous lean projects? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's pretty much just everyone clean up after yourself, and that's pretty much it. Put things away where you found them. That's it. What we're seeing here, this picture, is the demolition of one of the buildings at the old, I shouldn't say the old, but it's demolition of the place I used to work at. And this right here is what's left of the pump house that would supply water to the whole plant. You can see the water main there. So they tore the building around it and just left these pipes for after. And yeah, they just ripped it down with an excavator. You can see there's wood here supporting the other parts of the building. They are eventually going to come down later. And I do have video of that. But yes, that is demolition time. This will look familiar to anybody that's watched the channel for a bit, but this is a centrifuge before the retrofit where we put it on a higher stand. So now you can see how close to the floor it is. We had to fit under there when we had to do some work, either on the slide gate or to get in here underneath to do just about anything. So that was quite the I'm glad when they did the refit and put them up on a bigger stand. It really helped us out a lot. But yeah, that's a different angle from the centrifuges. This is what happens when you leave an aluminum pump in a place that has like 80% ammonia. So the ammonia just attacks the aluminum. And this is a portable pump because, as you can see, we have it attached to a rolling stand. It's only a 2-inch diaphragm pump, but as you can see, and it's also where there's it's a dirty, filthy composting facility, so it's going to have the garbage sticking to it that's breaking down. But this is what happens. The ammonia just attacks the aluminum, and yeah, we had to replace the discharge because, as you can see, just broke. But yes, that's what ammonia does to aluminum. And when you mix ammonia with water, it forms a mild acid. That's one messed up thing. Yeah. Make sure you don't let your bosses try to cheap out. If you need to order something that's stainless steel, order something that's stainless steel. Just one of the many piles of compost when they would clean up. They would just scoop it all into a big pile and then come along with the loader and scoop it up and take it away. But this is what we had to deal with. As you can see, look at the walls. The walls are just covered in it. Mild acid, you just hallucinate a little bit. Well, actually, if you weren't, if the concentration was high enough, it would start burning your eyes. So I knew my limit was about 200 parts per million of ammonia, because that's when my eyes would start to burn. But yeah, anything below that, you could put up with it. It would be annoying, but you could still put up with it. It affected different people, These yellow filter, nope, that's just the lights. So we used metal halide lights. They're yellow, obviously, and they would give off this yellow tinge. These are the augers that we would use to rotate through the compost. And as you can see, they get worn. They get lots of magnets get stuck to them, as you can see, and the magnets attract everything, nails, screws, everything like this. Yeah, Godzilla, sepia tone. There you go. So, as you can see, just covered in magnets. But these are what actually get pushed into the compost and mix it up. Hard to get a sense of scale, so I put my glove on this one. The second one. They work in pairs. That's why there's two of them here. That one and that one. So I put my gloves on there. And it's like, that's how big these guys are. I think they're about 10 feet long. And about 2 feet in diameter with these, the augers here. Yes. So, for the wear, you're talking about wear. So every month, so every month we would take these off and send them away, and they would get hard surfaced again. So they'd put hard surfacing on them. Once it wore down the hard surface, we wouldn't even wait. We just, after another month, remove them, replace them with another set. So we had about, I want to say we had about 6 sets of these things. So we always had enough because we had 3 machines that used them. And these would get, like I say, you could see they get bolted up. They would get bolted up to the machine and they'd get used. And then a month later, we'd unbolt them again, take them down and send them away to get hard surfaced. Those bigger hands just really small. Actually, my hands are about average size. Like they're an average size. Like 4 inches wide at the palm, I guess. Kind of horsepower motors? So the motors were attached to, hey, Angry Canadian, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, the motors were attached to gearboxes, and the gearboxes went to transmissions. So they didn't have to be very big. I think we used maybe 20 horsepower motors. Just trying to remember. It was a long time ago. But yeah, these are the things that would actually get stuck into the compost and would rotate it and aerate it and move it along. And like I say, sometimes before we got into our regular habit of changing them out every month, sometimes these things would get worn right down and they would break. They would, and then you'd have to go and look. You'd have to go look in the bay that they were in and try to fish it out. Fish out the piece, take it over, get the crane, lift the piece out, take the old auger off, put on a new one with the crane. Oh, it was a fiasco. Once we switched over to just changing them once a month, no matter what, that went away. So abrasion is a real thing. It takes its toll on this. All the abrasion can just rub it down to nothing. This is a drive shaft for a hydraulic pump. So you can't see it, but over on the right-hand side here is the motor. Whoops. Over on the right-hand side is the motor, and it's connected to this drive shaft, and then the other end of the drive shaft goes to the hydraulic pump. So these guys needed a lot of horsepower to drive it. That's why we're using a drive shaft like that. It needed a lot of pressure because it was driving two large augers that would in a mixer. So I think what happened is this was wearing out, and I was getting ready to replace it. So I've had my trusty Makita Impact here, and I was getting ready to remove these bolts out of here to swap out the drive shaft. Drill seen better days. That's actually looking really good, to tell you the truth. That's why I will stand up for Makita tools, because they put up with all the abuse we put them through. And they still worked, so good on you, Makita. But yeah, to get you an idea, I believe this is that's either the power, no, not the power cable, that's the inlet for the hydraulic oil. So that's quite a large inlet. But we needed that because of how much oil it was using. And when I said about the crane, you'd have to use it to lift the augers on and off. This is the crane. Every job site should have one of these. This is excellent. Yeah, you see, Makita for life. So I got trained to use this thing by a trained crane operator. It's a 3-day course, and you don't need to have a ticket like an apprenticeship or anything for the crane, because this was under 8.5 tons. So 8.5 tons and under, you just need to go through a training course. And yeah, a handy thing. Nice low, like it sits low. You can sneak it into areas you need to go. Front wheel drive, rear wheel steer. You can see it's got the outriggers there, outrigger pads. You're hoping it was a trained crane, like the bird. Oh, get out of here with that. What's the matter with you? But yeah, this was a good crane. We used it a lot. It was so valuable for us doing our jobs. Like, it really came in handy in a lot of places. So if you can ever get one of these on the job site or see one, get it. It's a good thing. You haven't had enough dad jokes or puns this stream? Well, pick it up, all right? I don't know, were you there for the bread jokes on my anime stream? So I was showing you guys Yakitate, Japan, and man, the bread jokes came out. It was glorious. So this pump and motor drives these two giant augers, and I can stand in here. Like, these things are huge. If a dad joke makes you groan, that means you won. You donut. Remember if it was. Oh, I'll get you. Yes, so these are being powered by that pump and motor. And what happens is they put biosolids in here, so human poo and wood chips. And they mix them together, and then they spit it out. But yeah, this is quite the nasty, mean machine. And these ones we would have to change as well. You'd have to unbolt it and pull them out with the crane and set in new ones. And once again, abrasion. It's amazing. You guys can't imagine what the amount of abrasion, of damage that abrasion does for stuff. It's unbelievable. That's why we had to do like hard surfacing. That's like a special metal that is hardened like crazy, so it can take the wear. But it would still wear out, but just not as fast as like a regular mild steel. You were on a roll for that stream. Ba-dum-tsh. Yes, Godzilla. How does it feel destroying the North American box office? It's marvelous. Marvelous. This guy. Impeller for a pump. And you can see, just look at the wear on it. Like this thing. It's amazing how much. And I believe, let's see, what was this for? Oh yeah, so this is for centrate. And if you don't know what centrate is, when you use a centrifuge and it separates the solids from the liquid, so the solids were called biosolids and the liquid is called centrate. So this would flow down from the centrifuge down to a pump to pump the centrate back to the ponds. End suction, yep. End suction discharge pump. So it would come from up above on the second floor. It would come down to the first floor where the pumps were, and it would go right in to the pump. This guy would grab it and suck it out and discharge it into the holding ponds. And as you can see, once again, a lot of wear, because out of the centrifuge, you'd get the solids, separate the solids from the liquids, but anything else would probably go with the liquids and get down into there, like the grit and sand that was in the original biosolid mixture. There was a lot of sand, so it would just polish this thing and just wear it down. It was amazing. That's why I had to take a picture of it. I'm like, look at this thing. It's just worn like crazy. And this is me in the crane. So in case you were ever wondering what it looks like inside the crane, I'm just getting ready to drive it inside here. Can't remember what for. We were probably going to lift up a counterweight or something. But yes. Down here is your controls for your outriggers. Left side, right side. Your hoisting line on the right here. Then raising your boom and extending and retracting your boom. And then the furthest, you can't see. Can't see the... oh. Yeah, you can't see the furthest one, but that's rotating the boom. And you got your scale. And it's, the ball and hook, about 100 pounds. And then that's your boom extension. So we could take this off and swing it out of the way if we had heavier things to lift, because you have what's called load radius on your crane. So the further away you get, the less you're able to lift up because it's so heavy. If it gets too heavy, you can bend the boom and break it. So if you knew the weight of something, or if you didn't know, you take off this boom extension because it's too long and just go from here and lift from here so you're closer to your crane, a little more capacity, and then you can see on your scale. It's all about that moment arm. Yep, momentum. You betcha. But yeah, so this was a fun thing to operate. I'm glad I learned how to operate it. And it made me a little more valuable to the job, which is another thing that you guys should take to heart is When you're offered training on something, take it. Take all the training you can get. If the company is offering it, you're taking it. Make yourself so that you're the most trained up guy there. So when they're looking around at people to get rid of, they're like, well, we can't get rid of that guy. He knows this, this, and this. He's really well trained. Oh, there's a motor on the deck. So maybe that's what we were doing. Maybe we're going to replace the motor. I can just see out the window here, to the side of the window, there's a motor. Maybe we were going to go change a motor or something. I thought this was funny. Sparta. This is Sparta! I just had to take that picture. DJ Runny G knows, yep. There's a picture of one of our lagoon pumps. So the settling ponds for the poo, this is where they would go after the dredge would pump it to here, and then these guys would pump it to these centrifuges, or a holding tank anyway. Looks like we've got the shiv off the back here, the drive shiv. Something must have happened. We might be taking this whole thing off, which is what we would do sometimes. We'd have to take these bolts out here and then either change the mechanical seal, or yeah, most of the time that was for changing the mechanical seal. We'd have to pull it right off and pull off the impeller and then change the mechanical seal, put it back on. The base is not on isolators. So as you can see, there's not a lot of support underneath. They did try to build an extension off of the concrete, but it's on its own pad here, like it's got its own skid that it's on. But still, underneath, I would have done a little more to provide support. But obviously, companies are going to cheap out. Yeah, you got it now, yeah. But yeah, I think because there's this big mess here of poo, I'm pretty sure we're changing the mechanical seal on this one. What do we got next? Oh, okay. These are the settling ponds for the poo. And yes, that's what all this is. Well, so when the water level goes down, this is what it looks like. Otherwise, it looks like it has a lot of water there, but sometimes the drainage guys wouldn't control the water level good enough. And it would look like this. It's Lake Potomac. We always said watch out for the Poonami. Yeah, I've stuck my hands in this thing. I have. As you can see, so the dredge floats out there and it scoops up, or it sucks up the stuff from the bottom. There's a pump that goes in there. This is the old one, but the floating pipe there, you can just barely make it out. It's floating on the top of the water there, and that pumps all the way back to a vessel. Aquaman has met his match. Yeah, he has. I'm not going in here. Don't want to be a brown noser. Yeah. So we used to take a boat to get out to this thing. So over here, can't see it, but there'd be a little dock. And we'd have a boat there, and we'd get in the boat, and you'd paddle out over to this thing. And you'd climb onto this thing and do the preventative maintenance or whatever needed to be done to it. And once you were done, then you get back in the boat, and you paddle back. And you're good to go. And then they can fire it up and they can start harvesting again. So, actually, you can just barely see the pipe right here. This is the pipeline that the soft pipe is connected to, or the floating pipe. It comes right back and it connects to this guy here. And then it gets sent to the vessel. The HSM colon. Yes, the HMS colon cleanser. Aren't those summer ponds dangerous because it's so much poo if you have no buoyancy? If you fall in, you just sink like quicksand? Yeah, so funny you should mention that. We did a test with that, and I actually made a YouTube short about that. Just give me a second here. Yeah. I'm gonna bring that up, Godzilla, because you asked so nicely. Bum, 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 bum. All right, here we go. So we push the dummy in with a jacket on, a life jacket on.
The life jacket did nothing.
And it's a good thing. So there he goes. We got a rope tied onto him.
The life jacket did nothing.
So yeah. I found out later we didn't use the right type of dummy. Apparently they have ones that are like more that mimic humans. But even the life jacket didn't hold him up. So if you feel like it, go to my shorts page and have a look at that. You probably get a better I'll take horrible ways to die for 1,000, Alex. Good thing we tied that rope on. That dummy, we wouldn't have gotten him out. But we pulled him back up out of it after, and yeah, threw him in the back of the truck and hosed him off. But yeah, this that was it. You're not coming out of there. Salute to the brave dummy soldier. Yeah, yeah. So remember I was talking about this is not a very good picture because, you know, you're inside the place where they make the compost. Those large augers I was showing you earlier, this is the machine that uses them. So this thing stretches about 80 feet across. And the bay that the compost is in is like 600 feet long. So yeah, there it is. I mean, terrible picture, you know, but those guys are in there and they're stirring up the compost. They're also moving it from this end to this end. So as it moves along and it aerates it, it moves it further, closer and closer to this side, which is what it's supposed to do. You ever say looks like a good crop this year? Yeah, you know, you take a scoop up and give it a lick and like, yeah, this is the good stuff. But yeah, this conveyor here is what does the actual loading. It's what's called a tripper car. And the tripper car, all it does is it rides along this conveyor, but it has another conveyor on it that shoots everything out into the bay. So it just rides back and forth, and makes a nice even dispersion of the compost. And I know I've talked about this before. These are the giant filters. So these things filter the air from the building, from the whole building. And this ductwork here is what the air travels through to get here. And it goes into this chamber, this concrete chamber beneath it. And it goes out into either side into these filters. We call them biofilters. And they are about 5 or 6 feet of wood chips deep. And as you can see how big they are, they're huge. But yes, this is how you get the air, the foul air out of the building and filter it. so it doesn't smell as bad. And these things would get changed out 4 to 5 years. So you get, coming up to it, you'd check it. They'd have to get tests done to see if it's saturated enough. And once it was fully saturated, then you would begin the process of removing it all and swapping it out with some fresh wood chips. This is me just getting a shot of how the highest point I can go up on a aerial lift. So as you can see, I've got it extended as far as I can go and up as high as it can go. And this is, I think it's only a 45-25, so 45 feet in the air. I believe that's to the bottom of the platform. But that's fun stuff. Getting a picture of it down there. Ah, this thing. So when you want to sort compost, this is a star screener. And it has little stars on it. Little rubber stars. I believe it's originally used for like peat moss and such. But we used it for our process, and it lets the finer stuff fall through to a conveyor below, and then the bigger stuff, as you can see here, stays on top, and it gets sent to a discard chute because it's not, you want the screen stuff. The finer it is, the better. So this was a hell of a machine to try to. We would have to replace these sometimes. Sometimes they would snap. Sometimes all the stars would get, worn out to nothing, and we'd have to replace them. So you would plan to spend the whole day in here doing a swap out of shafts and stars and such, just because it was such a intensive labor to do this job, and very dusty. Pooh Bear, oh bother. Yeah. I'm on the dredge. Look at. I took a picture of myself being on the dredge. This is the old dredge though. The new one was a lot better, but this is like somebody built in their garage or something. As you can see, it uses a wire that goes across the length of the entire lake, and that's how it pulls itself back and forth. Judge Dredge, yeah. I am the law. I am the poo. I am the poo sucker. Yeah. That reminds me, I hardly see Judge Joseph Dredd around anymore. I gotta see that guy more often. Hope he's doing well. But yeah, as you can see, it goes through the eyelet here. It's just a pipe tee. I mean, they really didn't go fancy at all. It's a pipe tee with a cam lock. And there's one on this end. I don't think I got it in the frame though. No, I didn't get it in the frame. And then this is the motor that actually, you can see the cable goes down and around the drive pulley and then back up again. And there's the motor and gearbox that does the actual driving back and forth. And that's all this thing would do. It would go to one side, and then it would go to the other, and it would just keep picking up, the material and sending it to the plant. So that's how this thing would, so Euro drive, yep. Freaking European. But yeah, that's the dredge, and there's the electrical box, powered everything. You had your breakers in there. And then those were your, what do you call it? Your frequency drives, your VFDs. Your VFDs would be in here, which would control the frequency, how fast things would go. And there's your breakers right there, your breaker boxes. And as you can see, the thing was starting to rust out. The tread plate walking all around it, starting to Starting to rust out. So that's why we had to get a new one as well. Not to be confused with the SJW gearbox. No, VFD. VFD. This guy was fun. I liked using this. We would only rent these, but this was such a handy thing to use around the plant. This telehandler, also known as a Zoom Boom, but Zoom Boom is a brand name. But the proper name for it is the telehandler. 4-wheel drive. Just lift up, I don't know, 10,000, 12,000 pounds. Just a good overall machine to get work done around there. Once again, another course I took to be certified to operate this thing. Like I tell you guys, get as much training as you can. They say, hey, we want you to operate this machine. Yep, you bet I will. I'll go and take the course for it. VFDs are an interesting thing. It's weird to think motors only come in certain speeds. Yes. Yeah, so I've seen like most common 1700, 1800 revs. But then there's like the 3500, 3600 revolution motors. And then, yeah, everything else you're going to be controlled by VFD. This was a fun picture to take. I think our thing was on the fritz, but it said minus 50. And it wasn't minus 50 out. It's just the something had happened to cause it to go on the fritz. So, but yeah, minus 50. Thought it'd be funny. I got this picture when I was at the very top. And we were supposed to be the entrance to the attic to the building. And I thought, you know what? It's morning time. I'm going to take a picture, see if it looks nice. Picture of the water. That is not a poo pond. That is an actual lake for wildlife and all that. So, and there it is over there. So as you can see, I'm very close to the top of the building. I'm standing on a platform. And yeah, there's the lake still. The wetlands, as it were. And did I get a shot? Yeah, okay, there's the shot inside the attic. So inside the attic of the building, you can see they have all these braces. And we would walk around inside the attic just to, we had to make sure that everything was okay and it wasn't rotting out. Jay, Desolate Souls Presents. Nice. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, I'm just showing off some pictures of some of the things I've seen at the Waste Management Center. And yeah, this is the attic. And yeah, I thought it looked cool with the way they just go and just disappear into the distance. But you can see everything's marked. Everything's marked. That way you can tell where you've been, what place needs to be looked at further. Right? They've got lots of insulation. This is a shot from my vehicle as I'm trying to leave. They're having a lot of I think they were doing, it's either that or a train. I think we were lined up for a train. Inside the same building where we were, where the attic is. So like, there's the roof there. We would be walking on top of that. But this part, the old panels were only galvanized, so they rusted away. This material is very wet and heavy, and it presses up against here, and it just sits there, and it rotted away the galvanized. So we had to get some stainless sheets to put up, and this is the result. Working inside the bay here, putting up It's fun to see the differences in Canada versus U.S. culture. You guys call it Waste Management Center, while we in the U.S. just call that Congress. Ayo! Oh yeah, the rocks. Yeah, I've got the Alberta windshield. Well, this is my old car, so my Chrysler. And this, yeah, You got one up there, you got one there, you got one there. It looks like a road map on your windshield. But yeah, these are stainless panels, and we are installing them in here. Because otherwise all the material is going to fall out. And it was falling out on it. So we've got some skid steers in here, and we cleaned it away from the wall about, I don't know, there's 10 feet maybe, 10 feet back. Made it so we could come in here. We'd lower them in, we'd use our crane, the one I was showing you earlier. We'd lower them down, and the guys would line them up, and then they'd use some drivers with some stainless steel check screws, and then we'd screw it to the uprights. These guys here. And there would be a little bit of overlap, probably like a little 4-inch or 6-inch overlap. And then we just move along. Move to the next one, move to the next one, and keep loading them in. It was quite the project. As you can see, you guys are down there. We're just this is probably getting close to the finish line for us. There's a little better shot, not as yellow. No, that's lunchroom. Lunchroom, sometimes we'd have cake days, so they'd bring in cake. And we'd have a good old time. What's next here? Oh yeah, let's go here. Actually, let's end it off here on a nice shot of some cake. Because who doesn't love cake? Eh? Look at that. Go to Costco, grab some stuff. It's all tasty. All right. So, not bad. Not bad, guys. I hope you learned a little bit today. I know I had fun. I think that's tuxedo cake. I gotta zoom in on there for you. Have a look. Look at that. Look at that. Cake for everybody. Chocolate? There might be some there. I don't know. It's good though. It was really good. You just physically reinstalled your DVD drive on your desktop without turning it off. Wow. I went out and bought a physical disc drive as well, a CD drive, because I have so many things on DVD and CD and Blu-ray. I need one. I'm not gonna screw around with not having one. But yeah, what a fun time today, guys. This was great. I'm glad I was able to show you guys a little bit about files. Like, there was a lot to learn about files, the different kinds, what to use them for, what you're going to use them for, and what they're best suited for. It's amazing out there. You're going to see a lot of stuff, especially when you specialize as well. You'll be able to find a whole bunch of different kind of tools. And don't be afraid to buy good quality tools. You don't have to buy top of the line, but buy mid-range. Don't buy stuff from, I don't know, what's your cheap tool place in the States there? Is that Harbor Freight? Anyways, don't buy this cheap stuff from China. If it doesn't have a name on it, if it just says China, don't get it. It's gonna hurt you. It's gonna be something you're not gonna have any luck with. It'll break on you. It's inferior. Buy the quality things. Okay. Harbor Freight's great for one-time use tools. I thought so. For us up here, I think it's Princess Auto. Princess Auto is like where the farmers go, or where if you just need a tool to use once and you're not going to use it again. Files can do anything? Yeah, pretty much. You made an HDMI port on your NC4 with one. There you go. And modified shapes of metal thing. Yeah, of course. And don't forget, go out there and get yourself a file card. keep your files clean. If you want to have a nice finish, a nice metal finish or anything like that, or you just, it's good practice to keep your files clean of debris. That way they won't clog up on you and you won't have a hard time. But yes, I'd like to thank everybody that came out today, like Jake D, Godzillionaire, DJ Ronnie G, Jay's Daddy. Who else was here? I know you're here. Just looking. Whoopa Troopa, of course. How could we forget Comrade Leader? And then there was Angry Canadian. It's always good to see you, buddy. We got to hang out a bit more. It's a little tough with the time change, though. And then there was Jay from Desolate Souls. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Jay. That was nice. File card. This is not the weirdest Pokemon I've seen. File card, I choose you. So yeah, please guys, do me a favor and hit the like button and spread the word. Tell your friends about me. Let them know that, hey, there's this guy who's into the skilled trades and he's on every Tuesday. And he talks about the skilled trades. You can ask him anything you want, and hopefully we'll learn something while we're here. There's other good channels out there as well. People I watch personally and enjoy, like Pacific 4 and 4 and Blaine from Blaine's Escape Corner. There's Ronan66 and DJ Ronnie G, who is in the chat as well. There's Brandon the Anime Guy, the Nerdporo Lifeform, Angry Canadian, who was in the chat. Whoopa Troopa, also in the chat. Hopefully he's getting back to streaming soon. I really like his chill streams. They're really fun to join in on. And then there's Punkwaddle from Floral from Under a Rock, and he's on Snowdub's channel as well. So I have a Discord. It's called The Shop, because that's where all the tradesmen hang out. We hang out at the shop, shoot the breeze, get our work done. Coming up, Saturday, game stream. I am playing Golden Sun. Man, this game is just awesome. So much fun. Really enjoying it. A nice turn-based RPG, good story, and I'm just having a good old time, and I hope you guys are too. Sunday is all about the anime chat, and this month's theme is food/cooking. So join me as we see some culinary delights cooked up by some anime people. Should be for a good time. I know last time, if you weren't there, we had a really punny time with the old yakitate and all the bread jokes. You guys were on fire. And then after Sunday comes Tuesday again, Trades Talk Tuesday. I'll be here. More pictures, more videos, and hopefully some more tips on the different kinds of tools to use, and maybe they'll apply to your hobbies as well. But yes, with that, if you've been watching on Kick, Rumble, Twitch, or YouTube, I appreciate you spending time with me. I hope to see you guys again on Saturday. But until then, everyone, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.